Simplest thought for this episode is when you get to the point where you can add value in health, wealth, /love in every room you're in, you are on your way to getting to the next level. I'm not saying you have to be number one in every room, but if you can find a way to add value on those specific things, I'm willing to bet you're going to be more next level than most people.
The fundamentals, the basics, you can't really design a future in advance without understanding the fundamentals, at least at a elementary level of each of these categories.
Next Level Nation, today for episode number 2221. We're doing a part 2 to what we talked about yesterday. Health, wealth, and love are just the beginning. And this is my thought. Because I think, okay, I feel like I know fitness and I know that at a fairly high level, quote unquote. But would I if I wasn't a personal trainer? Would I if I wasn't somebody who is obsessed with fitness? I don't know. I don't know.
I like that you use obsessed.
I am obsessed.
You used to not use obsessed.
Well, because I was trying to figure out who the hell I was.
You used to be afraid of the word obsessed.
No.
You weren't behind the scenes, but you didn't want people to... You thought there was a negative connotation with obsessed.
I'm obsessed with fitness, for sure. Yeah,
of course. Fuck yeah.
But I wonder...
Hey, good for you.
Thank you. If somebody out there right now... Because a lot of this is a byproduct of the fact that I wanted to be in really good shape. I've always wanted to be wealthy. Always. And I fucking sucked at relationships, so I had to learn how to get good at relationships. Somebody out there right now, what creates the necessity to do this other than the fact that eventually, things will get better than they are today. Eventually. Maybe. But they will get worse for a long period of time. Somebody asked me yesterday, shout out to BC. I was on a podcast.
BC Babbles, what's up, man?
BC Babbles. He said, what makes NLU and the brand different? And I said, well, you're not going to feel better. You're just not going to feel better after you listen to us. But you will have the opportunity to get better. That is a fucking guarantee. So if somebody out there right now doesn't have the necessity to go learn about finance, how do we provide necessity?
This is why I think dreams can save your life. Because dreams are the necessity to get out of the mud. When you feel lost and stuck and hopeless,
but dreams don't come.
You got to cling on to something. You got to grab.
Dreams don't come until after necessity for most people.
No. Nope.
What do you mean?
You got to have them first.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great rest of your day.
Hold on. I was prepping for an interview later. I'm doing it. You remember Lauren Johnson?
Of course. I already saw it on your calendar. I'm excited.
She's awesome. So I crunched some numbers for the interview because got to. So she's been a mental performance coach for 12 years. And of all the people at that event, I believe she was the least full of shit. She was the most on point. She was, at one point, basically, they said I couldn't partner up with Kev for the exercises we were doing. And I was like, oh no, I'm going to have to leave. I'm not partnering with any of these people. And I was like, if I don't get Lauren, I'm dipping. I'm out. Okay, I'm going to run a trail or something. So I got Lauren. It was great. And so I'm interviewing her years later, and we've been waiting on this for like a year, but not a year, probably earlier this year, probably 6 months. Worked with the Yankees. Now, I don't really care about that status-wise. Here's why I care about it. 500,000 people. This is just a U.S. statistic, so for the global people, baseball is a big U.S. sport, okay? 500,000 baseball players in high school. Kevin was one of said baseball players way back then. 60,000 play in college. Kevin was not, because he sliced his hand open.
And didn't go to college. Got to go to college to play in college.
Yeah, you got to go to college. Of the 60,000 that play in college, only 6,000 play D1. Of the 6,000 that play D1, only 1.2 thousand play in the MLB. Of the 1.2 thousand in the MLB, about 160 between the minor and major league roster of Yankees, including the minor league players. There's 40 in the major league team on the roster, and only 26 at any one time are active. Okay, so I went through this on ChatGPT, and I went deep on it. Only 1 out of every 20,000 players gets to play on a Major League Baseball team. And the Yankees are essentially the best, quote unquote, MLB team in the world. I don't know if that's true right now.
Not right now, no.
Yeah, okay. But overall, would you say, if you had to
They're
pick?
a very well-respected, successful franchise, I would say, yes.
Okay. So that's 0.005%. So what I'm excited to ask her about, and I'm bringing this back to this episode, is mindset, self-belief, self-worth. What's the difference of the 0.005%? Only 1 in 20,000 baseball players ever make it to a major league team, to actually playing and starting. Not even starting, but active. I don't know baseball enough to intelligently talk about this. But the point is, I don't give a shit about baseball. I care about that. The mindset you have to be the best in the world at something. So when you said you don't get necessity till after, I think that if you don't have necessity before, you basically will stay stuck.
I mean, I got necessity from pain. So I can...
But you already had the dream.
My dream was to be wealthy.
There you go.
Yeah, but that's... If that was the only dream, I wouldn't have done this. I would have probably taken my clothes off for a living or something. I would have made a lot more money in the short run than that. Maybe. My hips... These hips do lie. Let me tell you, they don't move very well.
Thunder down under. No, but necessity comes before or after. And again, this is not a part 2 of the other episode. The other episode was about the subcategories of.
Well, I told you we were good. Yeah,
that's okay.
But this is what happens. It's a fluid conversation. I think it depends. It depends on the person.
My theory is you need to have a dream in advance in order for the pain to be constructive. If you don't have a dream, like no dream, no goal, seriously, why would you ever get that good at anything?
But I'm already assuming that somebody has the goal. Because we've said this before. Everybody wants to be healthier, wealthier, and more in love.
Yeah, I think everyone would say they do. Yes, they'd say, yes, I do.
So how do we get that to be... How do you go from it would be nice to I will do what it takes within my power to make it happen?
Do you think you can stumble upon a goal like that, being a starter on the Yankees?
No.
Okay, agreed. No, so we're on the same page about that.
For sure. But that's also that's also whatever the numbers are, right? 200 out of 20,000. Yeah, so like that's a goal that is a little bit different than...
But it's the same principle. It's the same principle.
But that's best in the world shit.
It's the same principle. I let me actually say more than just that over and over again. So the principle is you want to be better than you are now. You want a goal that requires you to be better than you are now. Boom. So that's the start.
Okay.
All right. So you had a goal before your suicidal ideation. You had a goal to be better. You wanted to be better than you were then. Your girlfriend left you. Mm-hmm. You wanted to be wealthy and successful.
Yeah.
You wanted to have a beautiful partner. You wanted to drive a dream car. You had dreams. You just didn't call them that, maybe.
But the thing is, I kind of accomplished all of them. I did. At one point, my girlfriend was a model. I had my dream car, and I was making 6 figures, and I was in the best shape out of anybody I knew. I accomplished all the things, quote unquote, that I wanted to.
That's why you got depressed.
Well, so that's what I'm saying.
You were done,
and that necessity created new goals. So for me, at least, I think that's the way it worked for me.
It's not like you went from no goals to suddenly a goal creator.
I know, but I was an idiot. We talk about this all the time. Like, I just thought I was going to be wealthy eventually. Just thought like puzzle pieces are going to connect and it's all going to all happen. It didn't all happen, unfortunately.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yeah.
You wanted to be wealthy.
Yes.
Why didn't you study finance?
Psst, fuck that.
No, seriously. Because think about this.
Think
about how dumb this is.
Very honestly, all the people
want to be wealthy, and you never wanted to study finance.
All the people I looked up to who were wealthy did not study finance. That's why. At least to my knowledge. That's why.
Who did you look up to?
I looked up to athletes. I looked up to rappers. I looked up to fighters. I looked up to...
Right.
Yeah.
They got good at their thing.
They got good at their thing.
Now you know they had a financial advisor.
Now I know that. Or they didn't, and that's why they lost all their money.
Yeah, which is what we talked about in the last episode with Mike Tyson and his tigers.
He had tigers.
All right, so for those of you out there who want to learn from Kevin's poor choices,
yes,
you can't. What's a better way to phrase this? If you do want to be wealthy, you should study wealth.
I would say that's fair. But
if it's like, imagine wanting to be in the MLB and like, I don't really want to study the game. I'm not really into baseball. You can't.
I know, but that's such a specific thing.
It's the same goddamn concept.
It's not, concepts aren't, and principles aren't, yes, and if you don't think about it that way, it doesn't matter. You literally said if you can't, I don't remember what you said at the start, but it was something along the lines of if you're not aware of how to create the thing, then everything that goes into the creation of the thing becomes kind of off limits for you. Except for you go exploring how to create the thing. When you set a goal, you're supposed to go, it primes your mind for it, the world becomes your library to But it's got to be a goal you believe in. It has to be a goal. That's why
the only reason you've tolerated me this long is because you unconsciously knew you needed me for your goals.
I consciously knew.
Okay.
I've been saying that since the beginning. Right. I consciously knew.
But that's my point. How?
You're smarter than I am.
Yeah.
And you know more things than I do that benefit me.
You could have learned from anybody. Why me? You unconsciously or consciously knew that this was the path. That's what I'm saying. When you set a goal, the persons, places, things, and ideas become on your radar. And then you were humble enough to actually tolerate the cons that are necessary for the pros. And that's a whole nother conversation we should
But I think the issue I have with your perspective is that his Wi-Fi is fucking brutal.
Is it really?
It's insufferable, his Wi-Fi right now. If you're still watching this, Alan is completely frozen. On my end, I can't see him. In post-production, it'll probably get fixed. You might not even hear any of this in post-production. I'm just holding space at this point because I don't know where he's gone.
I'm still here.
Frozen.
Can you hear me?
He's just frozen. Oh, he's back. There he is. I held space the whole time. I was talking to the people. Oh, okay, cool.
You couldn't hear me.
The problem is...
With my perspective.
With your perspective, of course. Mine's flawless, obviously, as always. You have to start almost by saying, okay, I right now am not in as good a shape as I want to be. I am going to lose 5 pounds in the next 15 weeks. Then you learn something. You learn enough to make that happen. Mm-hmm. That builds a level of belief where then you say, you know what? Okay, I'm going to fit in the clothes that I wore at this point in my life. Fuck yeah. Okay, how do I do that? And it just continues. It continues. You got to start with one small goal. The goal can't be to be the person who can walk into any room and add value when it comes to health, wealth, or love. That can't be the goal.
Yeah, no, that's too
broad.
It's too vague.
So I think we have to start with a very small, specific under health, wealth, and love.
I think that's good.
I think that's my thesis.
You do realize, so in theory, you losing 10 pounds in 10 weeks, which I would consider to be a fairly small goal on the grand scheme of dreams. On the grand scheme of dreams, that is a short-term goal. 10 weeks is short-term goal. That is a short-term goal.
Short-term goal, yes.
10 weeks is not that long.
But short-term does not equate to small goal necessarily.
Okay, you know what I mean? Losing 10 pounds is hard for a lot of people. I understand that.
Yeah.
And it is doable for anyone within reason.
I would concur.
Okay, awesome. We're on the same page. In theory, setting a larger goal would force you to become more and learn more and grow more. I think the disconnect is if you don't believe in it, it won't. So
Correct.
Basically what you're saying is, so when you're a kid and you say, I want to be an astronaut, if you actually believe in it and actually meant it, you would have to grow and learn. And there's a great film based on a true story. I'm not going to think of it right now off the top of my head, but this dude applied like 14 times, 14 years in a row or some shit. True story. And he finally got into NASA and he was an astronaut. Unbelievable. Great movie. I'll think of it another time. But when you do set a big dream, your dream forces you out of the shit. Like, if you grow up in poverty and you have a big dream to be at NASA and be an astronaut, the dream will force you to say, think, do, feel, and believe things that you wouldn't do otherwise, assuming you actually believe it. And I think that's the disconnect, because I would be stuck in bad relationships. I would be stuck in toxic friendships. I would be stuck in so many ways if it wasn't for my dreams. My dreams got me through the hard times because they got me out of a potential terrible life.
But you're an anomaly with that.
But it's the same concept. I'm not an anomaly with that.
You are.
Eminem, there's other people that their dreams got them out of terrible circumstances.
Look at the fucking examples you're using. The best in the fucking world at things. Okay. You know what I mean?
But that's Eminem, the same concept.
The concept I agree with. But the concept in context and specificity and other words that I can throw out, just random words.
Let's say in theory you believed in yourself.
Yes.
When you were a kid, you could have been in the MLB if you really wanted to.
I believed I could. But that's a big fucking leap. I feel like so many things, like, one of the weirdest nightmares I have is I forget my locker combination in high school. I walk up to it and it's like, no idea. Couldn't know. I have no, like, what does that tell you about my high school career? I think what we're talking about is
you don't get the locker combo until after you set the dream.
Listen here. I'm saying. About to tell you about the locker combination.
Talk to me.
One, the first digit, self-belief.
Okay.
First digit, self-belief.
Nice.
Second digit, self-awareness. Understand. Third digit is long-term focus. So I believe I can do it.
You're missing a digit, which is setting
only
a fucking goal. None of those come until after you have a goal.
Okay, so the fourth digit.
No, the first digit is set a goal.
I know, but
you don't build self-belief for no reason.
But the goal has to be based on...
By definition, you cannot build self-belief without a goal, even if it's unconscious. Even if it's to eat cereal tomorrow morning. That's a goal.
I would love that.
Facts, though. Real talk. That's a goal.
Yes. But I think the truth is somewhere between us. It's not the way you did it, and it's most likely not the way I did it. Because
when
I was
a little kid and I saw Star Wars Episode 2 and I wanted to marry Natalie Portman. I did that. I didn't marry Natalie Portman.
I was going to say,
but
when did I miss
very
this?
Similar, and she's even more gorgeous in every regard. My point is I always had a dream. I always had a vision.
But you always had the belief.
But that's because I always had the goal.
No, it's not.
The goal builds belief.
You have something different. I always joke about Alan. I literally say behind the scenes, like, dude, that's a fucking movie. Like, that part is a movie scene. The fact that you brought up a mistake in a textbook and the entire fucking class laughed at you and you were right, I would have switched schools. I would have moonwalked right out of the room and I would have been like, fuck this, I'm leaving.
I did switch schools. I went to WPI instead.
Well, yeah, later.
No, but
like that, it's just...
But the principle's the same. I know and I appreciate it. I do. Like, yes, of course.
I know, but you could say the principle... Yeah, but you can take principles to the extreme.
It's not...
What were we going to say? In theory, anyone can what? I want to hear that.
All right. This is good. I like this.
We usually get a lot of love on episodes like this. People are usually like, that was fire. Did you learn anything? I don't know. I don't know if you're going to learn anything, but
if you
we're going to get to the
anything,
root.
that is on you. No, I'm kidding. But seriously, this is good stuff because these debates that are healthy discords are exactly where all the answers are. This is, I do realize that I'm on the extreme end of the bell curve when it comes to believing in myself. But there's nothing that maybe you wouldn't have gotten straight A's without trying like me, but you definitely could have done better than you fucking did.
I agree.
Okay, so
I agree. By
definition, anyone can do better. The reason they're not doing better is not some innate quality that I have and that Eminem has and that other people. We have some innate quality that maybe gives us an advantage to build self-belief quicker. Like one of my clients that I've been working with for a long time, she said, Alan, you don't understand what it's like to not be able to connect all that. Like your mind just connects all of that. And we came up with something that happened when she was younger. And it was like, that is obviously why you're who you are today. And she's like, I said, why didn't you tell me that before? She said, I genuinely just didn't think of it. I didn't think it was relevant. It's like, that's the reason you're doing what you're doing right now. How could you not? But that's me projecting of like, how could you not connect that? But that's because my brain's good at connecting things. But it's chicken or egg, because it's not like everyone who is in the 0.005%, the 1 in 20,000 of whatever industry, okay, they have something that is they're gifted in. That I agree with, okay? But the principle of building self-belief applies to every human being. Maybe that innate quality helped us build it faster, for sure. Like the math thing. I am gifted in that. I always have been. I'm coming up with financial stuff. I might end up a CFP at some point, like certified financial planner. The point is like, we all have strengths and weaknesses. This is the nature versus nurture conversation. Everyone has a certain nature. Everyone has a certain genetic code that they're born with. Everyone has certain strengths and weaknesses that they're born with. They did a study where Michael Phelps could never have been a long-distance runner, and a long-distance runner could never have been Michael Phelps. Like that, at the very top of the game, there are certain qualities that give you a huge advantage. It's called in evolution, it's called a competitive advantage. Every company needs to have a competitive advantage. Ours is ridiculous work ethic, okay? And systems and strategies. When it comes to building self-belief and having goals, though, the innate ability, the strengths that you have play a factor in that, but it doesn't change the fact that anyone can build belief by starting small and building it. But that I don't think you can build belief without a goal, even if the goal is unconscious. It needs to be the state-proved self-assigned. Okay, so we're on the same page about that. Mm-hmm. What I'm trying to articulate is that in theory, you could, Kevin Palmieri, you could, even though you don't believe it's possible yet, you could say, I'm going to be an astronaut, and then you could spend the rest of your existence working to become an astronaut, and then you'd end up smarter, and you'd end up wealthier, and you'd end up healthier, depending. You would, because that is required of the goal. That is my point. Like, you could be an astronaut. I know that sounds nuts, but you could. I'm not joking. I could make you an astronaut. I know that sounds crazy. Just everyone relax for a second. It's not impossible. You'd have to cancel everything else you're doing and reorient your entire existence around it, and you and I'd have to start a fucking space company, but that actually is possible. Someone has done it. So I think we limit ourselves. It's so funny because statistically speaking, you're more accurate, but I'm more accurate in what's possible.
I agree.
Just because nobody does it doesn't mean it can't be done. It's like you're looking at evidence from the past. If that's the case, then the phone would never be invented. Like, if we look from 300 years ago, I wish we could like sit someone down from 100 years ago and be like, yo, check this out. They'd be like, what the fuck? Are you kidding me? And then I'd say, hey, it was always possible. And then they'd think I was delusional. When in reality, it's like, no, I'm not delusional. You're just ignorant. You're ignorant to what's possible. It's not your fault. Everyone is. I am too. Science fiction always eventually becomes science fact. We're going to have flying cars, of course. Right? It's all part of the thing. It's all happening. There's already robots in homes. There's a mall with all robots. Like, just because it isn't usually the case doesn't mean it's not in theory doable, right? And I think that's the argument you and I are always having is you're talking about practice. I'm talking about theory most of the time.
I'm talking about the ability to set a life-changing, life-altering goal and then actually do what is required to get closer to it requires such a high level of self-belief that is statistically so improbable.
But where do you think self-belief comes from? It's not like I just started with the self-belief of them.
I think you started with more self-belief than most people.
How do you know? Why? I was a little blobby baby. I couldn't even hold my own fucking head up when I was a baby.
Same. That's what babies are. That's what a baby is.
I was just a little blob, man.
Because you were
Watching
thinking
Winnie the
about
Pooh.
making a video game company when you were like, how old? Super young.
Yeah, 12 maybe? Something like that.
What was I doing when I was 12?
I'm not... Okay. So I accelerated quicker on self-belief. Fair.
Yeah.
Fair. But that doesn't mean that you can't get there at 32 or whatever.
Agreed.
Right? So
Agreed.
it's the principle stays.
Agreed. But I'm just saying,
Which is good.
I feel like...
It's good news for everybody.
I agree. Okay. Agree. 100%. 100%.
And what are you trying to say for the listeners? Because you're right, dude. You're more optimal when it comes to what people will do. I'm more truthful and accurate with what is possible. I'm certain. That is like our career together.
100%.
Yeah, what's
but for
possible...
me, what's possible is always based on what somebody's willing to do.
That's fucking dumb. Because based on... No. Because if they believed it was possible, they would do more.
Yes, but there's so many
See the
ifs.
chicken or egg? That's what we're doing. We're doing the paradox of... It's the confidence conundrum again.
I know, but you got to take yourself out. You take yourself out of the equation.
And I also have to take away Tom Brady and Kobe Bryant and all these other...
leave them. Leave them. But you're not in the equation helping this person. Right? Like that.
Do they have any mentors? Do they have the opportunity to have any coaches?
Yep, whatever they're capable of getting on their own accord. 100%. The reason I'm so heavy on this is because I wouldn't be where I am. And I just say that, and nobody else will ever say that. They're just like, well, I would have found a way. I fucking wouldn't have. I'm telling you with certainty. I wouldn't have. How many things did you have to drag me to that I didn't want to go to?
A lot. Yeah.
All of them.
And you could have found a mentor or a coach, but you would not have had someone who poured as much. Yeah.
Yeah, the fucking odds of that are so low.
Very low. Yeah, for sure. And you can't really plan for that. But what you can do is seek out mentors and coaches.
Well, I think everybody should.
The principle remains, but okay, you think everyone should, but they won't unless they have a goal. And they won't have a goal unless they have belief. Well, and if they don't have a goal, they won't build belief. It's a total conundrum.
I agree.
This is one of my favorite conversations ever because
but I think we have to
this is like the cheat code. If we can unlock this.
When Alan and I partnered up, I was like, yeah, I want to be Joe Rogan.
Yeah. I was like, okay.
Alan immediately thought I could be Joe Rogan. No. I said I want to be. Not I believe I can be. Those are two very, very... Now again, please do not... that is not my goal anymore. I don't aspire to be that.
Yeah.
But...
Which, by the way, you wouldn't have become this amazing man who doesn't want to be Joe Rogan unless you had that goal originally. And I certainly wouldn't have helped you become your own unique flavor of that if you didn't tell me.
This is why I think it's so unique for me. That wasn't the goal. That wasn't my goal.
That was a dream.
It was a fucking delusion. I think it was a delusion to a degree.
Okay. Now we're getting somewhere.
Yeah, I don't want... If the goal is
what's
delusional...
What's the difference between a dream and a delusion? This is a good conversation.
A dream is something... Jesus.
That's possible. Well, who determines that?
I don't know.
Yeah. That's the question.
Everything determines it.
And by the way, and this comes back to the conversation we've had in the past of, is delusion good? If it gets you off your ass, I think, maybe.
It made me start a podcast. I started a podcast out of pure fucking delusion. I had no right.
Why you advocate for it.
I had no right to be talking into a microphone and having anybody listen to me. I had no right. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. And I think I also had a little bit of a philosophical perspective.
You need to show both sides because you did have more results than most.
I know, but I had no idea. I had less self-awareness than most, I think.
I don't know if that's even true, man.
Maybe not. Maybe not. It's a juggling act. It's all a juggling act. My one takeaway, if you've taken anything or nothing away from this episode, if you've taken something, strong work. If you've taken nothing, you can take this, hopefully. This is why, going back, we did an episode on humility recently. This is why humility is so important, because humility is what allows you to set the right goal. Please, 1 sec. The humility of saying, I know I can do that. And all the people around me are going to fucking judge me because I always go above and beyond and I always do that thing that nobody else can do. That's humility. You actually saying this is going to suck and people are going to villainize me and I'm going to get my feelings hurt and everybody's going to judge me. That's humility. And the other side of humility is saying, honestly, I've never been to the gym in my fucking life. So I want to go to the gym 5 times over the next month. I'm going to start there. Love that. Fucking love that for you. Nobody else will. Nobody else will love it for you. That's it. You have to set a massive world-denting goal. No, you don't. Nope. Oh, you're going to go from not exercising to being the most in shape person ever of all time? I don't think so. I don't think that's a good goal. I think you should just go, just start.
You actually set that goal.
But
do you think it's possible for someone to say, I want, the astronaut thing, I'm going to be an astronaut and then go do it. If I dedicated the next 30 years to that, I feel like I could do it. I know I could.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't there's a lot of ifs in there. I would cancel everything else I'm doing and orient my entire existence around that new goal.
Let me throw something your way.
I think that's the piece that I'm missing. Quick. Yeah.
Principle. The principle. You know how to accomplish something that is very statistically rare.
Yeah.
Across things. So you already have the awareness.
How is because I set a goal way back in the day.
Which was, but I think that was based on belief.
And or awareness.
Okay.
This might be it. If you have the awareness of how to do something to a certain threshold, you can set a goal.
It's a decision.
A real goal. It's a decision.
It's not a
goal. It's a decision.
It's a decision. And that's different.
And then you have to, I think that's probably what it is. That would make a lot of sense, because if I do have a gift in intelligence, which I do believe is true, and I can connect dots other people can't, I probably just had the formulas. To me, I know this is going to sound a little nuts, but I don't think finance is that challenging. It's not that hard to build wealth. It's actually very easy, very simple formula. It's a very simple formula. I can give it to you. I did an episode on it. Almost no one's going to do it, but it would work for almost anyone. I mean, you could literally, I wish I could do a game show. I would work at Walmart for the next 30 years and I could be a millionaire. I'm certain. I'm mathematically certain of it. But no one's going to let me do that. And or I'm not going to dedicate 30 years to prove a point.
I'd prefer if you didn't.
Yeah. I'm not going to do that. But I could do that. Earn more, spend less, invest the difference intelligently. That is the formula. And I know there's a lot of sub formulas and sub skills and meta skills and all that stuff underneath that. But my point of this whole thing is, maybe we are all born little ignorant blobs. And then maybe some of us have gifts others don't, which obviously is the case.
For sure.
And then when we set a goal based on our awareness, because here's the thing. I didn't just set a goal to start a video game company. I studied the entire industry of video games when I was a kid. I had my own website selling items on the internet when I was a kid. The whole NFT selling digital items, I was doing that when I was fucking 13. My uncle was like, what the fuck is this? It's I just sell these items in this game. Now they sell items in games all the time.
Yep.
Diablo 2, I was selling items. There was no online marketplace there was eventually, because other people like me built websites, and you set goals based on your awareness. But here's the thing. This is the conundrum. You don't get awareness until after you set a goal. It's weird. But you're not just going to be aware. No one's just 100%. I just know stuff. So you 100%. Almost have to have a goal that requires you to become more aware. And then when you become more aware, you set a higher goal, because now you know how to do. One of the things that you're realizing now, and we'll go after this, is now you have a lot of awareness. So it's very hard for you to just slouch. Like, you used to be the best in the world at chilling. Still really good, but you were the most chill. The reason why is there was not a lot of, it's like you would use the metaphor of a video game. It's like there's worlds out there, but they're blurry. So you don't know there's no opportunity cost. When you don't know much, you're already winning this little game. There's no opportunity cost to chilling.
Well, it's a decision.
And now it's harder for you to just sit around imagine if you took an entire weekend and just did nothing, that your higher self would eat at you because you're leaving so much on the table. But that's because your awareness is high enough to know what you're leaving on the table. When you're a little kid, you don't really know what you're leaving on the table. Yeah. I do this Next Level Wealth Builder with people where we go through people's entire careers and unpack how much they made, how much they invested, where they put it, what they did with it. One client, $714,000 she made in a decade, and she's like, I have none of that money. It's like, well, what the fuck did you do with it? Like, and I'm not trying to be unkind, but obviously you should have. She's like, I don't know. I guess I just spent it on bullshit. Well, let's stop doing that. Like, what's the difference between a wealthy person and a non-wealthy person? The wealthy person didn't just spend on stuff that depreciates, right? If you don't know anything about appreciating and depreciating assets, if you don't know anything about how to earn capital and how to invest it, you basically are just she's like, well, I don't really know. I guess I never really thought about it. Then that's your fault. Like, no one else is going to say, hey, you shouldn't buy that pair of shoes. Mm-hmm. They're going to be like, ooh, nice shoes. Terrible idea, right? I have one pair of shoes. Trust me, I should have another pair. These smell. The point I'm making, though, is like, you need to set a goal to get awareness, but you don't set a goal until you have awareness. So it's this weird conundrum that I think a lot of people are stuck in. And I really hope that, why would you learn without a goal? You kind of wouldn't. Human beings are goal-oriented creatures. You're not going to learn how to hunt if you don't need to hunt. But if you're alone in the woods and you need to hunt to survive, you're going to learn how to hunt. It's not like our indigenous ancestors were like, I think I'm going to learn tracks. I'm going to learn the wolf tracks, and I'm going to learn the hoof prints. They did that out of survival. They had a goal. The goal was survival. And so it's almost like everyone out there is only learning what they need to survive, but what you need to survive now is so minimal.
Yeah.
And I would rather everyone thrive.
It's cool. This is a cool conversation. It's a cool conversation. I think you and I just come from different ends. For me, I set a goal that forced me to learn a new level of awareness, and that new level of awareness built a new level of confidence, and that confidence allowed me to set a bigger goal and then rinse and repeat. So it's a long process. I think that's the hard thing is, I think some people are like, I am going to be a professional baseball player when they're young and they do it. I said that. I just didn't have the right combination.
When you were saying that.
Yeah.
What's the difference between you saying that? I really did intend on being a CEO.
That's the difference. Okay. I did not.
So why? I really don't understand. Like,
because I thought that's what I was. Yeah, I thought that's what I played baseball. I was pretty good. That was the path to the highest level of success that I thought I could achieve. That's what I'm going to say I'll do.
How do you know? Okay, now that you do intend on things, what was the difference? Because this is what breaks my brain. Is like, I've never said I'm going to do something and then not intended it. I've changed my mind. Don't get me wrong. I've changed my mind, but I've never said it without the intention at the time to actually do it.
Because you had the awareness of understanding what it would actually take. I wasn't willing to trade everything in. At this point, I've traded pretty much everything.
So you didn't know what you'd have to trade in to be in the MLB?
I didn't know what I would have to do. You
basically have to dedicate your entire life to it.
It
still might not happen.
I didn't study other baseball players. And I'm telling you that, statistically speaking, that is what most people are doing.
That makes a lot of sense.
If you're out there and you're not thinking that way, I'm not saying, like, I'm just telling you, most people, I tend to understand the way people think just because I am somebody who, I spend a lot of time existing, and that's why, like, when I'm on podcasts, people are, I don't know, it's weird. It's like they think I'm way better than I think I am. And
who's right?
Me.
I love it.
I don't know.
Last piece. I know
everybody's right and everybody's wrong at the same time.
Well, that's exactly it. No one's fully accurate,
right?
But we're closer and closer and closer. And one thing I will say, and I'll give this to you because I'm glad you hung in this. we have group 20, and I'm excited to see you all tonight. And if you're listening, BC Babbles, it's happening, everybody. One thing that is very clear to me is that this whole goal setting, goal achievement thing, I have never operated without it, ever. Like, that is one thing. Emilia and I did an episode, the top 10 reasons why you need to have goals in a relationship. And her and I on the episode were like, we couldn't even, it was like, what would it even be like not to? It was so clear in that episode. I'll put the link in the show notes. The top 10 reasons you need goals. We literally, in the middle of the episode, I had this humbling moment of, I've never not had goals. I've never not been working toward a goal. This conversation is literally predicated on a goal. Everything I do and don't do, everything, Kev, is predicated on a goal. What do you, why would you, like, what do you do if you don't have, it's like that. So I'm the anomaly in that. I understand that. However, the amazing benefits that come from having a goal are available to everyone. Just because I'm wired in that way doesn't mean you can't wire in that way. And you are living, breathing proof of that, which I adore, because as someone who very clearly was winging it, you have now achieved so many goals and dreams that so many people aspire to or want. Maybe they don't have the goal, but they want. And when you get your dream car, that's going to be way cooler than when I get mine, because I always was going to get mine.
Yep.
In a way, like I don't even have a dream car. It's not a car is a byproduct of something that I'm going for. Whereas with you, it's going to be way different, and you're going to be able to teach this in a way that I can't, because I was naturally wired goal orientation. Like, goal orientation is the way I'm wired. It's who I am, and I think that that's maybe not normal, but that doesn't mean it can't become your normal. I think that's what I hope people take away, is like, that can become your normal. It may not be natural, but you can totally evolve and grow into that.
Yeah.
And it is better.
I think so, for sure. Yeah.
Even though it's harder.
I think it just takes time. It just probably takes more time than people think. Again, it's so easy to look. I'll use myself as an example. It's so easy to look at me now, but this is 8 years. That's a long ass time. Go to college and get a master's degree, and then go do something else after that. And then that. However, how long does a master's degree take? 4 years? 6 years? I don't fucking know.
Depends. So yeah, I mean, usually 5 or 6.
So think about 8 years is just a long.
Well, you need a bachelor's first, so that I'm including that, right? But technically, I mean, it depends what frame you look from. If you want to start in preschool, then it takes fucking 18 years, right?
That's fair.
It all depends. Yeah.
But that's always a thing that I think is so easy.
You think 8 years
is
a long time?
Yeah. But fuck yeah. That's
again, in the grand scheme of a lifetime, like the average life expectancy, it's only 1/10 of your life. That's not that long. And that's the average. It really is all relative to your level of thinking, right? So to me, 8 years is not that long. Like, when you set a goal to be Joe Rogan, how long did you think it would take?
I didn't set a goal, son. Remember, it wasn't a goal.
When you wanted to be Joe Rogan, what did you?
I don't know, fucking 2, 3, 4 years. However long. Hey, right. However long it took.
You didn't mention that. I would have said, brother, it took him 40. You're going to do it in 4?
Because it wasn't a goal. It was the closest representation of what I wanted my reality to look like. That. There's a difference between saying, I plan on intending this, and if my life looked this way, it would be really awesome. Those are two very different things.
One of them is useful.
Yes.
The other one is just, I mean, what are we doing, right?
Got me started, though.
That's I understand. Every birthday, make a wish. It's like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You set a goal. That's what I'm going to do with my kids. Don't make a wish. Set a goal.
I dig it. Yeah. All right. What is the lesson for you if you're out there? One, it is a long game. This whole thing is a long game. Very long. And like, as your belief increases, your goals change in weird ways. A lot of what I used to want, I don't want anymore. A lot of the selfish goals I used to have, it's not for that anymore. So things have changed and evolved. And that's the whole other thing is, this is what I hope for everybody. I hope that you get to a place where you feel really comfortable and really confident, really confident in setting meaningful goals and intentions. And then the next layer of that for you, that I hope for you is when you get close, you realize you don't even want them anymore. That, I think, is fucking awesome. I think that's one of the best pieces of growth ever of all time. So
Nice.
That's my next level lesson.
My wrap up is set a goal that you really believe in now. That will force you to learn about yourself, others, and the world, which will get you to see a bigger vision. And then you can set a bigger goal. And then that'll put you on the path to understanding yourself, others, and the world more. And then you'll set a bigger goal. And that's rinse and repeat forever. And then eventually, to your point, some of the things on my first vision board, I crossed right off that list. Nope. Because you become even more than you thought in some cases. And then by the consciousness that you have to understand and create of yourself, others, and the world in order to achieve that goal, sometimes you realize, I don't even actually want that. The version of you that you have to become to achieve the goal might not even want that goal.
Yeah.
And some people see that as depressing because when you get the goal, you'll realize, this ain't it. It's not about that. It never was. Being on the Yankees that's not what it is. The life that is a byproduct of being on the Yankees is amazing. And the meaning of who you became from nothing. Like, I wouldn't work with you if you came from privilege. I would not. That ain't it for me. If you came from privilege, I would not work with you, and we would not get along either. Because you'd be like, how come? Where are my boat shoes? Like, I can't even with any of that. That ain't me, son. Like, if you're not willing to grind for it, it's not real. Like,
you have to have a boat for boat shoes. So no, you're safe here.
I'm just so grateful that you came from nothing. You have no idea. I think about that all the time.
I guess same, but I wasn't grateful for most of the time. I'll tell you that much. It crossed the chasm, but for most of the time. All right, Next Level Nation, I can't imagine, no matter how much you grow, no matter how much you evolve, no matter how much you accomplish the goal, that being around super positive, super next level people is ever going to change. I can't imagine that ever going out of style. If that's something you're interested in, we have a Facebook group. Alan does monthly masterclasses. We have a book club. It is literally designed for somebody who wants to get to the next level, and everybody is giving you permission to do that. So yeah, that is what our entire company and this whole community, is built on.
We have shifted this company a lot, and we've evolved over the years. And what we stand for hasn't really changed. We stand for people who want to be better people, character first, and people who want to achieve their goals and dreams. And assuming your goals and dreams are from a character-driven place, they're going to be good for the world. So if you need help achieving your goals, the science of achievement is a science. And I've been studying it my entire life, even when I didn't know I was. And I want to help you, and I'm helping a lot of people. And we create a literal system of success that increases the probability over time that you achieve the goal. Even if by the time you get there, you don't want that goal anymore, you're still going to be way farther ahead than you would have been. So imagine if you had an exact GPS that got you exactly to the destination you want with a magnificent journey along the way, albeit shitty at times. That is exactly what we do. We have a goal GPS called a system of success, peak performance tracking, and that's what you get with my coaching. So once a month is much more affordable than you think. Reach out.
As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And if you are as committed as you say you are to getting to the next level, make sure you tune in tomorrow, because we will be here to help you get there.
Keep reaching for your full potential. Next Level Nation.